Well, hello everyone, and thanks for being on Rail Moments. Casey and I welcome you. Hello, Brian. How are you? Hello, everybody. Thanks for being with Casey and I this afternoon, where we are we're on the county line of Hamilton County and Marion County, here on the Chattanooga Sub Line, or many of you call it the Joint Line. Normally, a lot of traffic here. Now, I will tell you, we've been here almost an hour and a half, and that 184 was our first since we pulled up. And we're kind of out in nowhere, so we're going to pan the area. And for those of you that have Norfolk Southern calendars or had them last year for 2024, there is a tunnel, Whiteside Tunnel, that is in 2 different months, and that is where we are. So, we're going to be here an hour. Then we're going to roll on to our next spot, maybe down to Dalton. Haven't quite yet decided. Like fishing, you never know if the fish are going to bite, and if you get one, what you're going to pull up. Now, Norfolk Southern locomotives, BNSF locomotives, CSX, and UP. You'll see it all here. If you're going from Chattanooga westbound, all the traffic comes right through here. Back in Chattanooga, the AGS goes down to Birmingham, but everything else, Nashville, Memphis, Huntsville, all those areas, Decatur, where we were the other day, all that traffic goes right past here. And man, the sun is just perfect right now. For those of you not with us before, hope you have a good time. Like I said, we are live. It's not staged, it's not produced. We may see 7 trains, we may see only that one, and we enjoy the rest of the time rail fanning live trackside here on Mobile Rail Cam number 2. Any questions? If I know them. If not, we'll try and find an answer. Now you hear a lot of road noise. You said, Mike, you're out in the middle of nowhere. Interstate 24 runs beside us at this point, out in the middle of nowhere. To give you trying to think of the closest town other than Guild, Tennessee. We're just outside of Dane County, and if the Wildwood exit come up to either 299 or 229, it's one of those 2 numbers. That'll be the state route that you're on right here. So, this is CSX track, at this point it is considered north-south traffic. North, south, Chattanooga. Waxahachie Yard for CSX, DeBuck's Yard, and the pass-through there at the DeBuck's Yard. So sit back, relax. Brian, everybody, thanks for hopping on. Mama Bear, good to see you. Jonathan, everybody, thanks for, like I said, joining on. Have a good time. We're going to stay here. Wow. To roam on somewhere else. We had clouds, and then somehow Don sent us the cold weather up from Alabama, and we waited 4:30 to almost 7 to catch a train out by Bootleggers yesterday. So by the time we got a train, it was cold. So let me give you a little pan of the area. And for those of you first time, it is April 1st, 2025. I'm Mike. I'm your host today, and everyone else that you see on are your rail fans and your rail friends for the day. And we're just going to hang out. Y'all can chat. Anybody trackside, let us know. If it's your first time, please subscribe. Thank you for all the thumbs up. And the reason I give you the date is because once we end today's live, it then goes, let me see who that is. Excuse me. It's Mrs. S. So y'all hang on one second, and I'll be right back with you guys. Don't go anywhere. In the meantime, I'm going to swing you over so you can see if anything comes out of the tunnel. And like I said, it is just beautiful here today. Mama Bear and everyone else, Mrs. S said to tell you all hi. Brian, what's new with you? And is anybody trackside? Yep, Mama Bear, I am in your neighborhood, outside of Wildwood. And Papa Bear, it should be a good spot that you recognize. And you guys, I don't know if you all have been out here lately, but it's kind of interesting. They're putting in, and I'll show you the area here in a moment. Well, turn that train around. And what train crew did I give the heart attack to? Refresh my memory or catch me back up? All I know is there's more and more, what was it that you guys said, I think it was yesterday, more and more orange crayons along the tracks recently. All right, first off, for those of you that know this spot, and like I said, for those of you that had NS, Norfolk Southern calendars for 2024, there are 2 different months that have that tunnel on it. And y'all say, well, gee, that looks like a short person tunnel. Over the years, and this end of the tunnel is in Hamilton County. The other end of the tunnel that's right up that track comes out in Marion County, further up the tracks. And yes, we are on a very steep grade. And if you get a longer train here, I mean, it's literally on its knees pulling by the time it gets up to the crest and drags the tail on up. And you can hear those locomotives groan. Now, our last train was pretty short, so he hit it hard, he hit it rolling, and 148 was up and over and gone about that quick. Now for traffic coming, and like I said, since this is a CSX line, they consider the traffic here north-south. At this point, it's kind of running northwest. But for train purposes and train direction and the calls you'll hear, scanner is on. They'll call north headed up. Now there is a crossing around that bend and just a tad. It's the only crossing to the north of us that we will hear horn at if anything's coming our way. Now, back to the tunnel. And for those of you that come here in the springtime, I wonder if once upon a time there was a cabin or something close by, because on the side where you see that fresh greenery, that whole side is just covered with beautiful purple flowers. I mean, just beautiful. I love coming up here when they're all out. Now that tunnel is actually 12 by 14. But as you can see, running downhill, and this area was super prone to mudslides. So over all the years, you got to think back to the 1860s. All the sediment and everything that has run through there and then clogged has kind of filled that hole up, or the mouth of that tunnel up. So that's why it's not as big as you would think. But it is a 12 by 14 tunnel, and we are at milepost 139. And when I say we're at 139, now, as you can see, a few folks wanted to test their marksmanship And the poor old milepost has been fired upon more than once. If you want to find out the definition of a ricocheting bullet, that probably would be a good place to start, especially as you're shooting to a mountain that's solid rock on top of it. Anyhow, we are here at milepost 139. And again, we're on the Hamilton County line and Marion County line. This end of the tunnel has Hamilton County side. The other end of the tunnel has Marion County. Now, originally, the Nashville and Chattanooga placed the tracks in 1852. And back at that time, that's looking back towards Chattanooga. Back at that time, there was only one track placed here. And there's a valley part, kind of like right in here. And they had a tremendous problem with mudslides is what started all this. So, because they kept having a problem in this area, they put the tunnel in where the track was originally. It's a 400-foot long tunnel, and as a result of putting it in there, it basically acted as a roof. The mud slid right over the top of it and on down into wherever. So that's why they put the tunnel here way back in 1852, before the Civil War started. And then came 1911, where they then took this area and made it 2 tracks. And the NC in St. Louis, which then became the L&N, and now CSX, ran over this line. And currently, CSX and NS both run on this line, but it is CSX operated. But if we're lucky, you'll see at least one of each today. Like I said, there can be days when there's lots of traffic, and there can be days when it's just you and the wild turkeys. One of the first times I came up here, there was like, I don't know, a whole herd of them. Excuse me, I guess it'd be a whole flock. A whole flock of them were all down here on the tracks. And then just a little further up, for those of you that don't know the area, but if you decide to rail fan here, if you haven't watched Casey as our podcast about the 29 places to rail fan, from luxury to weed whacker, this is on the weed whacker list. And if you use the What 3 Words app, it will display for you the 3 words. Because when you drive up and down this road, it's either 229 or 299. Anybody can remind me which one it is. Also, some folks call this Raccoon Tunnel, the Raccoon Mountain Tunnel, but most know it as the Whiteside Tunnel. But just further down the road was the Whiteside Railroad trestle that ran over the Running Water Creek. Yes, it's named the creek, Running Water Creek. They came up with a very original name. And it's just west of the tunnel. And in 1863, as the Confederates retreated from the area, yep, you guessed it, it was wooden and they burned it. But the North put it back together, and here we are today at Whiteside Tunnel at a perfect time where the sun's just right. Look at this. If we had something you wanted to take pictures of right now, man, look at how perfect. It is right there. You've got full sun lighting up that locomotive or whatever you want to take pictures of. You got a military train with the words explosives on the side of it, like Papa Bear saw once upon a time, or the next heritage locomotive, or whatever it is. This in the afternoon is just an incredible spot. And let's see if I have what 3 words on here. And I said, we're not sponsored or anything by What 3 Words, but it's something that Casey and I use because a lot of times, now that we have Production 6 and the mobile cam and all the setup to go, if Production 6 can drive there, we can go there. And we can now broadcast from there. And a lot of times, where we end up, or where we will end up, there are no street numbers, no people, no anything, no houses. So I tell Casey where I am. So for example, right now we are at Glucose, Glucose, Jacks, Jacks, and Unready, Unready. So if you were on What 3 Words, you could end up right here. And a friend of mine, I had told him about this, so he wanted to come out. He drove up and down here and he couldn't find it. Now, don't bring a caravan of folks here because there's not room for a caravan. And I think maybe they're getting ready to put in a water line. So here's a wide open shot. And again, you do hear the truck traffic. And it's really beautiful here right now. Everything's starting to bud and blossom, and the whites and the purples and what have you. But that gives you the view. And for all of those of you that have cut all the vegetation and everything, so this is a great filming spot. Thank you. And recently, one of those eat all things, I said, I think they're putting a water line in possibly. And it rolled through here and made a path. And anything in its path, it just chomped it up, chewed it up, left it lay right there. And for those of you that want to come hang out here, get great pictures or whatever, there's Production 6. As you can see, that's all the opening there is. And you can put another car or two along the street, but because of kind of how it runs off, there's almost a 9 to 12 inch drop off the road onto the little bit of gravel here. Since this is an unsponsored spot, not kept up by anyone, we don't get any county gravel. Right over there is Interstate 24, and that is westbound traffic that you're seeing. Hey everybody, that's Jesse. So I'm gonna go ahead and spin you back to the tunnel, and then we'll talk here a little bit in just a moment. But here you are back to Whiteside Tunnel. taking you back into the 1850s. All right, everybody, that was Jesse, and him and Don are chasing the Pennsylvania. So, if anybody is trackside, the Pennsylvania, NS 8102 is through Dalton and probably about to get close to Vardell, then Cohutta. So, Bag Squatch, Seth, any of you guys that are out, Pennsylvania, leading, coming north, be through Varnell shortly. Jesse and them are out at Dry Valley. Perfect light tonight, or this afternoon. And back to talking about, like I said, don't expect much. Here's where the cutter went through, and this is kind of the view after it went through here. They just kind of cut, mulched, ate, you name it, through here, following the rail line, because they're doing a house expansion on the ridge. I'm trying to think the name of it, because this has all been just mountains, protected area, all owned, and no one has built out in a lot of these areas. But there's a big river gorge, I think it is. Anyhow, there's a big building, housing development going on out this way. So, there's looking. Northward. Giving you the view up the way. And let me catch up. Hello, Brian. Are you trackside today? Glad you're on. Let's see who else is hanging out with us. Mama Bear, are you at work? Or are you home? Jonathan, everything good in your world? Kid, I know yours is a great day. Like I said, Mrs. S said to tell you all, everybody, hi. She just finished up at work, and she's going to head on to karate class where she teaches tonight. $2.99, that's the road number. So scratch the 229 and it's $2.99. And depending on which way you come, it's $1.34. So if you don't like one road, just drive a little while and you'll get the other road. But $1.34 and $2.99. And as Papa Bear or Kid Outdoor said, literally, it's a stopping spot. Serious accommodations here. No vending machine, no Waffle House. You're going to have to catch dinner and cook it here. So bring the grill, charcoal, and whatever it is you want to eat. Hello, Ain't Right. How are you, sir? Good to see you back on. Bag Squawks, you're going to miss Pennsylvania. Hurry, Trackside. He should be in Varnell any moment, going north. He's going to go right past all your spots. And he's leading. It's kind of like, hurry, hurry, everybody in the car, let's go. So for the moment, we're just going to chill. You guys relax. Somebody do the train dance. And we are going to hang out here for an hour just to see what we catch. As you know, we started off with one up the grade. And if anybody's here on the joint line with us, let us know. Once they pass us here, they go over 24 and that brig, the big bridge there, the big trestle, where somebody somehow hung over the side of it and did all that painting. And then past Nickajack Lake, which is a beautiful setting over there. Then through New Hope, and then back across where we were last week by the drawbridge, and then over to Bridgeport, and then on to Stevenson where the line split, one down the Memphis West End, and off to Huntsville, and then Decatur, or taking a turn up to see all you folks, including Tony and Cowan. And no, I've never been inside the tunnel. Don't like creepy, crawly things. So, don't know what's in there. Don't know if the track's still in there. Not a clue. I know there have been folks in there, but not a place I'm going. And it's probably NS property anyhow, so not a place I want to go. I'm totally fine out here. And like I said, if you walked in it, it's 400 feet to the other end, and I imagine there's however much water sitting in there because we have kind of a mound or a buildup at this end. So, let's see if we can catch one more before we finish here today and go on to spot number 2. Shake it, little bear. We need that train. I'm going to guess once upon a time there was a year in that square. But I'm going to guess that also, once upon a time, someone decided they wanted it. Thus, the empty hole. But look at that stonework. And just think, 1850 to 1950 to today. I'm going to try and run down the side of that just so you can see just how they did all that work. And think about how heavy all the trains are that go lumbering past here. And all of you rail fan, think about how hard they shake the ground and whatnot. There's a piece of something. And there's some rock that's slid back there in the back. And you see but you can see how the inside of the tunnel is lined with that rock as well. Now you can't tell me there's enough creepy crawlers in there to fill a bucket, not a jar, a bucket. You can see all the bugs zipping around and what have you. And there is, I've cut recently a tree. Legs fall and they recently cut it off. And I'm guessing they pulled the pieces and loaded them and took them because that's a pretty sizable tree and there's no pieces of it. The ivy laying all over the side of it. And wouldn't you like to just have that in the backyard? Let the kids go play in the tunnel? Now, while we got some really good sun, let's see if we can see if we can figure out what year this track is. Let's just see if we can do this. Okay. This could be a trick, but we'll see if we can do it. Let's get on the closest one. If I'm making you all seasick, I'm sorry. All right. There is the inside of that track. Let's see if we can find the date. It was made since the sun's on it. This magnification, all I gotta do is look and this thing moves. There's one. There's two. Wow. I'm doing a really good job with the stones, huh, guys? All right, there is the first rail. Hey, we did it! Look at that, you guys! Whoa! That rail was made in 2016. Or is that an 8? I'll let you guys argue that. Either 2016 or 2018. Let me zip you all up here. All right. And it was made, the hash marks are the month. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that rail was made in July. So the hash marks, and like I said, we aren't down there. We are way up here. So don't ever go on the railroad tracks to do this. Like I said, we are way up here on the cliff. Our official year judge says that is a 6. So 2016, in July, they made that rail, and there it is. Now let's see if we're good enough that we can do this twice. There's the first set of tracks. And usually it's on the inside track, inside of the track. Always amazes you how far some of those railroad spikes stick up. And yet, nothing falls off. Makes you want to run down there with a hammer, pound them back in place. There's a slight interruption. Don't know if you all saw buffering, but I had notification at our end that, and like I said, because of where we are and no service, we are running off satellite today. All right, what do y'all think? 2016? And we've got 7. So yes, I think that's who made it. And there's the grade. So you can always find that. Every rail that we've looked at, and we found some down in over at Old Waxahachie Pike. That siding there, kid, is over 100 years old. The rail is there. There's a piece of rail down in Tunnel Hill that's over 100 years old as well. Not on an active siding, but the one in Old Waxahachie Pike, they still use it sometimes. So it looks like both of these rails were made at the same time same grade, in the same month, and laid here. So for those of you that when you're trackside, you can do the same exercise, but not down at the track. And this is how far away we are that we just did that. Crash. While I was zoomed out, I see that you had something to tell us. Fill us in while we're waiting for a train. Tony, when did you see 1900 Seaboard Air Line? Yeah, you and Gavin can check that out, but if you go to the Old Waxahachie Pike crossing, and right next to the AGS line, so it'll be on the CSX Waxahachie Yard side, there by the AGS line. That track, you and Gavin will find to be over 100 years old. And I've seen them still use that to park something on. They had MOW equipment there. So obviously no big use, but use. Gavin, I don't know how hard you did that train dance. We are coming up on an hour. Would love to catch one more here. It just becomes that whole matter of principle, you know. And like I said, we have beautiful sunlight right now behind us. So that's the age of the track. Crash, back to you. I'm back on monitor. And Tony, when did you see? I know, last night, you guys, literally 5 seconds after I hit done, we got us a night train. Oh, see, that always happens. The good stuff comes when you're at work. Y'all wonder how old that milepost is? That is the 139 milepost where it has been used for a little bit of target practice. And there they took it right down the corner, chipped it big time. Today, I'm guessing, is a day to catch a really cool train. No, there's many things that were going on at the office. I'm going to roll with Tony. It's Fool's Day, April Fool's Day. And next to it is the sign. For those that need something a little bit wider, they decided to shoot the warning buried cable. Don't call, no, do call before you dig. And that post is marking it for you. So, back to you, Crash. What did you catch on the eye line? As you could tell, we're probably about 50 feet or more from the track and probably about 30 feet higher than it. Yep, that milepost has plenty of bullet holes. And while Crash is telling us about the eye line, and kid, you're on quality control. Looks like we just had another buffering. Like I said, we are coming to you by satellite. A look southward. That gives you an idea how far away it is. Must bring you all the way. And we catch a deer. Or some car parts. Or, hey you guys, wild turkeys. Kid. Whoops, 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 whoops. Now those fellas are way down there. But you tell me, buzzards or wild turkeys? Now I've seen a flock of wild turkeys here before. Look at the bend in that rail. It's either an optical illusion leave it to Tony to figure it out. Oh look, there's some more. Oh, and there's another one. They got brothers and sisters. They're coming out to get some of that CSX grain. And for those of you who didn't know, those grain car hoppers do leak kernels of corn all over the place. And a lot of it comes on the top when they fill it. There's kind of like when you're pouring the milk from one jug to another or consolidating the tea into one or the other, you get that spillage on the top. Well, same thing with the corn. As they're dumping it in volume, some of the corn stays on the top. That's why if you go to Coffey's Cliff, you'll see the pigeons landing on top of the cars because of all the corn that's up there. Now, it has been 1 hour since our last train, and normally this line is train after train. But since the turkeys are here, gives us something to watch for a moment. And maybe because they've gotten on the tracks, that'll cause a train to come, so they get off the tracks. Or they know a train's coming and they're getting off now. All right, Crash makes it unanimous. Wild turkeys on the Joint Line or the CSX Sub Line just before milepost 139. Now we just need to add a couple deer and we'll have a whole wildlife refuge going on. Crash, I had the same problem as you know last night out at the water tower. I didn't have to take my shoes off to count trains last night. It was that slow. As you guys know, because y'all hung out with me. 2.5 hours on the NS line, not a train. Now the Mama Bear's sun's going down. It's already starting to get cold. Gavin, how you coming on that train dance? Trying to make a decision if we go on to the next spot for the evening, or we hang on here to catch one more. It would be fun to catch one more, but I gotta get you to train dance a little bit harder. Them turkeys are only gonna entertain us so long. No, Robert, I think that's a whole different species. Excuse me. As a down the hill looking shot. It is just a beautiful, beautiful afternoon looking back towards Chattanooga. Here, trackside. And like I said, it's kind of a, we would love to get one more to finish while the lighting is just picture perfect right now, as the temperature sails downward. For those of you that just jumped on, the wild turkeys have exited back onto the mountain. And that is literally what I see, you see. Seconds afterwards. So, looking back towards Chattanooga. Looking there at Whiteside Tunnel. The traffic you hear is Interstate 24. Now let's look. There. There is, looking at the tunnel. And all the fresh greenery is April 1st. Causing all those things to make power. Scanner is on. If anybody's trackside down by Waxahachie, let us know. Because Gavin's doing the train dance to get us one more train today. So we have a starting train and an ending train. And odds are always really good on this line because it's a very busy line, the east-west connection. So we're gonna hang out a little bit more. You guys are all still here, so I'm here. Then we'll figure out where we're going next based on how long we're here. May not make it to Dalton tonight just because of how late it is. Maybe we'll go over to the dam and watch the CNO and TP as the sun sets over Chattanooga. Or, I know what we may do. Since we're kind of close, we'll go to the south end of the Debucks yard. Because we got some lighting there. Usually a really great spot. So we'll hang out here for a little bit. That'll be our next spot tonight, if y'all want to go there. So, you are looking at the CSX line. Like I said, many of you call it the Joint Line. It is the Chattanooga Sub Line, where everybody runs together over the same trackage. So, I'm going to sit back, relax, Y'all just kind of enjoy the scenery. Check out that tunnel, Whiteside Tunnel, just outside of Guild, Tennessee. It's on the Chattanooga Marion County line. Chattanooga, or I should say Hamilton County line, and the Marion County line. with Seth checking in. Hey, he's getting ready to go to Trackside. And for those of you chasing the Pennsylvania, NS 8102 is currently stopped at Long, waiting on a signal. So Jesse and John are out there. By now, they've probably got 416 pictures. Whistleboard Productions. So, 13 minutes ago, NS 8102 on train NS 188 on its way to Danville, Kentucky, was stopped at Long waiting on signal. And we are here at Whiteside Tunnel waiting on a train. I know, kid, every time I think it's a train, it's a truck. And like I said, we've been here long enough, it's only fair that we finish with a train. And as busy as this line is, any other time, we'd have had our shoes off counting. I wonder if there's anything that lives in there other than spiders and creepy things. Boy, look at that intricate work inside that tunnel. Sorry, with all that magnification, all I gotta do is think about moving the camera. And you're 43 feet past what we wanted to look at. But those are the stones laid in that semicircle, or whatever the official geometrical wording is, so that the tunnel stays intact. And just think, 1850. Somebody turned around here a moment ago and the drop-off's so high, they kind of got stuck. Like I said, if you come here, watch that off. Let's see if we can get both sides of the tunnel there. That first green shrub right there is the other side. So pretty out here, it's hard to believe. That is 6:30 Eastern Standard Time already. for those of you that just jumped on, that tunnel is 12 by 14 foot, built in the 1850s. Still there today, except for whoever stole the plaque up here at the top. Right there. How dare they? So we don't have the official year. But I can tell you one thing. Don has sent us more cold weather because it's time to put on the old Rail Moments light jacket. So everybody, I tell you what, we beautiful spot, fantastic day, rich in history, and I think what we're going to do is go ahead and end the live. And I think what we'll do is go ahead and end the live, and you guys pick. There's a chance we can get to the Chickamauga Dam and catch the Pennsylvania because it's still sitting out at Long. And he's got to change crews. Or we can go to the south end of the debug yard. No idea what's going on. You guys tell me where you want to go next, and that is the plan where we're going to go. So y'all decide. Head off to Debugs or head off to the Chickamauga Dam and hope we catch the Pennsylvania before he goes across. We should have just enough time to get there, assuming that traffic isn't too bad, because we can jump across the top of Chattanooga and go out on Agricola Highway. No reason you guys couldn't camp here. Probably a little spooky, but all right. As long as Little Bear agrees, then that's the plan. Gavin, are you in? If so, we're going to go try and catch the Pennsylvania before he gets across the Chickamauga Dam. Tony, really? You can't decide? All right. Okay. Gavin, you okay with the idea? We're going to head to the Chickamauga Dam on the CNO and TP and see if we can catch the Pennsylvania 8102. All right, Robert. take me a moment. I'm just going to throw everything in because we are running off the satellite. It takes a little while to pack it. I'm just going to toss everything in. We're going to race off to the Chickamauga Dam. So, everybody, see you trackside at the Chickamauga Dam off Amnicola Highway. Here we go, guys and gals. Let's roll. See you, Whiteside Tunnel.